That morning when I was getting up to get ready to go to class, I was in college at the time, I turned on the TV and there was both the World Trade Centers, both towers were burning, and I knew something dramatically tragic had happened. It changed my world. I was in the National Guard at the time, and I knew that things as they were going to change for our country.
I was on my way to Pusan National University in South Korea. I remember because I was walking up to the university, it was in the morning, and there was a big group of people crowded together outside of this TV store. There was a storefront and there were all these televisions there, and I didn't know what was going on. I mean, there's a whole bunch of people gathering around watching the televisions. I was curious, so I walked over. I'm like, hey, what's everyone staring at? Because everyone's just staring at the TV. And I looked at it and it said, America under attack. And I didn't know what was happening. All I knew was that America was in trouble.
When I first heard about September 11th, I was on my way to school about 6:30 in the morning, and I was listening to NPR and heard that a plane had crashed into the towers, and it was actually my first teaching job up in Alaska. So it was around 6:30 in the morning there, but on the East Coast it was about 10:30. So everything had already happened. I get into my classroom, turn the radio on, and kind of listen to everything that was the whole aftermath of everything. And it was just very surreal. We ended up sending the students home because in Alaska, the little town I was in actually had a really big airport, so they were going to divert one of the Korean jetliners to land there, and they weren't sure what was going on inside that airplane. So we sent all the kids home, and I kind of listened to the radio that whole day.
So I was on a field trip during 9/11. It was a joint field trip with some British people and some U.S. citizens. I was in college, just turned 21, and we were out in the woods in the middle of nowhere, and we're going on a hike, and we were going to hike up this volcano called Mount Lassen. It's one of the biggest volcanoes in California. And as we hiked up the mountain, we woke up early, hiked up the mountain, a lot of people had their first cell phone coverage in several days because we're out in the middle of nowhere and we're on top of this tall mountain. Got great coverage. And all these people were calling home just to say hi, you know. And I remember sitting there, and I could look to my right and look to my left, and I could see different people talking to their family on the phone, and they just had this look on their face, and it was just weird because different people had the same look of just like lack of believing and kind of terror, and that's kind of how we found out. The whole class found out that 9/11 had happened. And the thing that was most scary about it is one of the people on the field trip, her mom worked at the Pentagon. And we had heard that the Pentagon had also been hit. So she was hysterical, was very unhappy. And we rushed down the mountain, and we just hiked up it. There's no way down easily, so we kind of hiked quickly down the mountain. We got to a point where she could call her mom. We went to like a local town. She did get in touch with her mom. Her mom was fine. And we just kind of stayed in a sports bar, and we just watched the events of 9/11 unfold at the sports bar. And we were just kind of beside ourselves. The British people weren't even sure if they were going to be able to get home because we knew that there was going to be a lot of issues with air travel after this, and it was very traumatic, and we almost canceled the entire field trip, but we managed to keep going and had a very interesting field trip after that.
Good morning, Grant Park. Today being September 11th, we would like to take a moment and show our respect to those who have fallen on that tragic day in our history. If you please, give a moment of silence. Thank you. We thought today it'd be fitting to start our tradition of saying the Pledge of Allegiance together as a school. So if you please rise and stand up. and repeat the pledge after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.